here, and in this video we're going to take a look at a piece of web-based software that was recently brought to my attention called Classflow. Classflow is the reason why somebody showed it to me was for the interactive whiteboard piece of it, but it seems to have a whole lot more. At the moment, the software is free. It kind of looks really nice, so I'm guessing that eventually that probably won't be the case, but for right now, free to use and fairly easy to kind of get the hang of it. So when you do have to create an account for Classflow, and once you do, you're brought to this home page. The instant whiteboard, as they call it, is pretty nifty. You can use pens, text box, add shapes. I mean, if you know, hi, how are you? If you want to type, you can add any shape that you want, and of course fill that with different colors. Um, Oops, it's all pretty straightforward there. You can use pen to write, and of course change any color and the size that you want, and then the eraser function. What is neat to me about Classflow, other than that's different than other interactive whiteboards, I guess, is that the students have an opportunity to connect to it. So I wasn't able to get students to connect just with the class code, but if you open class and it'll bring up this URL, if students type in that URL, there's my sample, Sammy sample student right there. If students type in that URL, they don't actually have to create an account or log in, and they're able to view the whiteboard on their own screen. Sammy sample student is on a Chromebook, and when I did have that student go into connect with that URL, I could click this, select all students, and send, and then that image showed up on the student Chromebook. Now, one thing that I did notice that was a little bit of a bummer is if I were to make changes to this, so maybe I start erasing some of that, that does not show up, those changes don't show up in real time. I actually have to come here and send it again, and then that will show up on the computer. There's other things though about Classflow besides just the whiteboard. So I'm going to exit out of here. You can save these as lessons, so you could come back to them later. For this, I don't really care, so I'm not going to save it. You can do a quick poll. So students are able to answer yes or no, true or false, have multiple choice. Now the question will not display on these, but the student answers will. So it would be like, you ask the question verbally or write it on the board or whatever, and then the students would be able to respond. So if I do a yes/no question, this is showing up on Sammy's Chromebook. So I'm going to go ahead and just select and submit. And we can see that Sammy answered yes to this imaginary question, and I get that instant feedback about who knows the responses. Now, this view does not show up on the student Chromebook, so students wouldn't necessarily know who was answering what. Probably a good thing if you want to keep that kind of thing anonymous. So I'm going to exit out of here again and go ahead and stop, and I don't need to save it, but of course you can, which is kind of cool. You are also able to create lessons, activities, and quizzes on here where questions would be. And if you look across on these tabs too, you can create classes with this. I really, really wish they had a Google Classroom sync. If they do, I can't find it. That would be really nice, but I don't see it there yet. There are resources that you can pull in the marketplace, especially. There's pre-created stuff. I haven't gone through many of these. I would go through them carefully to make sure that they're high quality and make sure you really want to be showing them to your students. But there is a lot here, and the students can look at them as you go through. I'm going to go ahead and open a lesson here relating attributes of 2- and 3-dimensional shapes. Once I do that, I'm going to open it up, and the students can actually view this lesson on their computer. The one problem that I've noticed is the slides don't advance as you advance through them. You actually have to click send to them every time for it to move on, which is a bit unfortunate, but still kind of cool that the kids can track it on their own screen. So overall, I think this is pretty cool software. I'm surprised it's free. I kind of imagine that the freeness won't last very long. Um, but, it's there for now, and so we can enjoy it while we have it. And even if you don't do anything but the whiteboard, pretty nice little piece of software. So thank you so much for watching.